Okay, we will call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for Monday, October 19th, 2020. I'd ask for you all rise for Pledge of Allegiance to be followed by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, as we commence this meeting, I'd just like to offer a very brief invocation, asking for a special blessing to be showered upon our community and our world as it revolves around the coronavirus and the epidemic that we as a country and as a world are now experiencing. These are proving to be most troubling times for literally every country on the face of the earth and for individual communities such as ours. The problem doesn't seem to want to go away. It's ever confounding, and I guess we just ask for blessings from the heavens above that we may resolve this in very short order. We are thankful for all the support that we are shown from members of our community and cooperation and service to others, our first responders, and all those gentle hearts in town who are trying to help those inflicted or suffering. And we just ask that a special blessing be showered upon us all as we go about this issue. Tonight also, we want to remember those from our community who are serving in foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America. And we just ask that a special blessing be showered upon them and all those working with them from our country as they go about their vital mission. And as always, we ask for vision and understanding and perceptive analysis as we go about the various items of business before us, knowing that in the hearts and minds of each of us, we are here to do what is in the very best interest of our community. We ask for all these blessings. Amen. I ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Miller.
Here.
Pizzotto.
Here.
Beck.
Here.
Here.
Chancet.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Callahan.
Here.
Meitzler. Malay.
Here.
Muir.
Here.
Barone.
Here.
McFadden.
Here.
So I have 13 present, 1 absent.
Very good. So we have the necessary quorum to conduct business. Reminder to everyone, it says to speak into the microphone, but we all are in front of our computers. So whatever sound device you have at the computers, please speak into it so we can get a recording of this that can be shared later as a record. Item number 5 is items to be removed, added, or changed on tonight's agenda. Alderman Chancet, do you have anything that you're aware of?
Your Honor, I'm aware of none.
Okay, anybody else? All right, we don't need a motion then to remove or add or change anything. Moving to item 6, which is presentation of tonight's consent agenda. Alderman Chancet, as Chairman of Governmental Services, would you present this, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. The consent agenda reads as follows. To accept and place on file the Committee of the Whole minutes for August 4th, September 1st, September 15th, and September 22nd, 2020. Building reports for September 2020. Approvals, the October 16th, 2020 payroll in the amount of $888,684.56. The accounts payable check register in the amount of $5,817,014.37. City Council minutes for October 5th, 2020. Approval, the 2021 city calendar. Ordinance 20-25, amending the City of Batavia zoning code regarding bed and breakfast homes. Ordinance 20-26, amending Title III of the Municipal Code regulating bed and breakfast establishments. Resolution 20-116-R, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute an intergovernmental agreement authorizing participation in the Kane County Coronavirus Relief Fund COVID-19 reimbursement program, and authorizing the city finance director to sign and submit documentation in support of CARES Act funding. Resolution 20-117-R, authorizing execution of task order number 22 with Engineering Enterprises for professional services and design engineering related to lead service line replacement program. And Resolution 20-118-R, authorizing the water and sewer superintendent or his designee to execute temporary construction easement agreements with regards to lead service line replacement program. Your Honor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second, Knopp.
Moved by Alderman Jansen, second by Alderman Knopp for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion?
I would just note that I've been alerted that Alderman Meitzler has his camera but not his microphone active.
Yeah, we just read his lips till he told us this. Okay. So let the record reflect that Alderman Meitzler is also in the meeting.
Is he going to be able to vote by, okay, thumbs up is going to be, okay. Make sure you use your right hand because I can't see your left hand.
All right, we got
Okay.
that solved.
Yes. Okay, Jansen,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Barron,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Callahan,
Aye.
Meitzler, Malay,
Aye.
Muir,
Aye.
Barone,
Aye.
McFadden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Rosado,
Aye.
Beck,
Aye.
Knopf.
Aye.
So that motion's approved. I believe 14 yes, no no's, none absent, correct?
Correct.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right, item 7, do we have any matters from the public? I don't have any, or I don't see anybody. Does anybody on the call have somebody waiting or anything? All right, let the record reflect we had no matters from the public. Okay, moving to item 8.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Fantastic, thank you.
Very good.
sure.
Moving to item, let's see, 8, reappointment of Phil Buss and Doris Scherr to the Batavia Historical Preservation Commission. They both have served ably for a term or two, and I would be very pleased that both of them would be willing to continue to serve. There is some kind of timely discussions going on about historical preservation, and I think having some folks with experience is valuable to us at this moment. So I would submit their names for reappointment and ask for a motion of confirmation.
So moved, Your Honor. This is Wolf.
Second, Callahan.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman Callahan for the confirmation of the appointments of Phil Buss and Doris Scherr to the Historic Preservation Commission. Any other discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf,
Aye.
Barron,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Callahan,
Aye.
Meitzler,
Aye.
Malay,
Aye.
Muir,
Aye.
Barone,
Aye.
McFadden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Rosado,
Aye.
Beck,
Aye.
Knopf,
Aye.
Jansen.
Motion's approved, 14 yes, no no's, none absent. Okay, moving to item number 9, Roy Bailey and his daughter Brittany originally suggested they wanted to come and talk to us tonight. I talked with Roy earlier today, and he's asked to postpone this to our at least our next city council meeting. As you can well imagine, this year it's going to be a little bit of a change in operations for us at the toy drive because of the corona issues and the whole thing about bringing people into a room and letting them touch toys, and whether we would even take any toys that are previously played with. There's a lot of movement in this. We have found a location that I think is going to ably serve this, and we're looking for it to happen either on the third or the second or the third Sundays in December. We're not yet sure of the exact date, but Roy will have all the details hopefully at the next meeting. So we're going to postpone item number 9 for tonight. Okay, moving to 10, the Main Street Minute. Do we have somebody from Main Street on with us?
Yes,
Yes,
we
I'm
sure
here.
do, Beth Walker.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Beth.
Hi.
Hello.
First of all, hello. I am today the Creepy Crawl. Our promotion for this month is the Creepy Crawl, which is a socially distanced trick-or-treating, which will go for the next 2 weeks. We have our our board retreat this Wednesday to discuss 2021. All 8 of our boardwalk shops have extended to the end of December for the season. One of the boardwalk shops has actually signed a lease in town, and 3 more are in active talks, hoping to sign leases in downtown this week. That's about all I have.
Well, thank you for all that good news. It's good to get some good news at this point in time. Does anybody in the council have any questions of Main Street?
I'd just like to make a statement. I think that that's exactly what we wanted those shops to do, was to start somebody off and then move them into a regular brick and mortar in-town business. So I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's very exciting news, and we're thrilled with the results of this first go-round.
Your Honor.
Oh, Alderman Callahan?
Yes, and I also talked with Jamie, who's managing the boardwalk shop. She hopes to have a presentation in the coming weeks from all of the shop owners about what they learned and where to improve and what our success stories are. And I think it's going to be a great tale.
Yeah, it certainly has been a well-run, creative idea, so I commend everybody that's been involved with it. It really has set a new stage for Batavia and its downtown to kind of grow and create a new vision of ourselves and where we want to go in the future. So thanks to everybody that helped put this together. Anybody else have any comments on the Main Street organization? All right, we'll move to item number 11 then, which is ordinance 20-58, annexing and zoning 1117 North Washington Avenue to the city of Batavia. Alderman Callahan, do you have anything on this one?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the discussion of the involuntary annex for 1117 North Washington. It is a banquet facility. The managers and the parcel owners of the property came in last week to the committee of the whole, and we had a discussion about some of their concerns and questions, and staff was able to put together those items for them that night and a few others over the next previous days. Scott, do you want to go ahead and let us know the work that you put in?
Yeah, sure. We had worked out the numbers for this, and we found that there was actually a net savings for them. The property taxes would go up about $40 in total, so it was a pretty de minimis amount. But the biggest savings, as Dan Ewell had mentioned that night, is the liquor license. The classification they have with the county versus us, they will save $1,000 by annexing it to the city. So it's actually a pretty substantial savings for them to annex, which is pretty unusual. We don't usually hear that, but that's a good thing for them. We also wrote into the ordinance that they do not require connection to the sewer as long as the property is not developed with homes or any other type of use. And then the electric is like any other type of electric connection. We have not required them to connect on unless they make a substantial upgrade to their electric service. So that would be the case like any other annexation we've done.
Your Honor, do we know if any of the property owners were here to say anything further tonight?
I've not been contacted by anybody.
No,
I corresponded with them.
Email communications with them, and they seem very pleased by the information that Scott was able to provide.
yeah, I had corresponded with them directly on that through Laura initially. So yes, I conveyed all that information to them and they seem to be satisfied.
Yeah, it seems like the information that was provided at the COW last week pretty much allayed a lot of their fears and concerns.
Mhm.
So with that, I will recommend approval of Ordinance 20-58, annexing and zoning 1117 North Washington to the city of Batavia.
Second, Knopp.
Moved by Alderman Callahan, second by Alderman Knopp for approval of ordinance 20-58 annexing and zoning 1117 North Washington Avenue to the city of Batavia. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Callahan,
Aye.
Meitzler,
Aye.
Malay,
Aye.
Ewer,
Aye.
Barone,
Aye.
McFadden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Rosato,
Aye.
Beck. Aye. Knopp,
Aye.
Chansett, Wolf,
Aye.
Aaron. Aye. O'Brien.
Motion ordinance 20-58 is approved by a vote of 14 yes, no no's, none absent. Okay, moving to item 12, which is resolution 20-119-R, authorizing execution of a local public agency agreement for federal participation with Idot for Prairie Street and Wilson Street intersection improvements. Alderman Wolf, do you have this one?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. Thank you. At our meeting early in May this year through resolution 20-68-R, the City Council approved a draft agreement with Transit System to perform the intersection improvements for the engineering services from them. Since this work will be partially federally funded, IDOT requires that we submit a local public agency agreement for federal participation. Basically, it's just a form that we have to be able to get the money and the coverage for the engineering services and the improvements on Prairie Street. This is for the next phase of it, which will be the intersection at Wilson and Prairie Street. And I don't know if anybody has any questions. This is just a local agency agreement.
Any questions from anybody? I just would like to offer a couple insights here. Obviously, this federal participation of this money is coming to us via the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, where I serve as chairman of the Council of Mayors, so I need to acknowledge that that isn't the case. This is a very nice process that we go through there. I don't wave a magic wand over anything and get money for myself. It has to go through a heavy-duty committee who analyzes all the projects and then makes decisions based on need and whatever. I will note on this one that IDOT had raised some issues with us because that intersection standing there at Prairie and Wilson, although it has very little train traffic, maybe some of the lowest around, IDOT pointed out to me that it was one of the last intersections in the whole Chicagoland area that had the volume of car traffic going through it that did not have a crossing gate on it. And they were very interested in seeing that the crossing gate got put up there given the volume of traffic, which is probably near 25,000 cars a day are going through that intersection. And they said that, by all standards, intersection with that volume of traffic should have traffic or crossing gates on the railroad sections of it. So I believe there's only going to be gates on two legs of the 4-lane intersection, and then they have to design some stuff that will hold the rest of the other 2 lanes in place. But I think they're very confident it will work. It's going to require a little bit of acquisition of some right of way and some property there, but nothing. They're not taking any buildings or anything, but there is going to have to be a little bit of that. But it will be, I think, a nice kind of conclusion to the South Prairie Street work. And I know one agency that's very pleased by its installation will be the Batavia Fire Department. because so much of our responses on a daily basis go through that intersection. And with an Opticom system put on there, they're going to be able to control that and easily get themselves through there right now, because as they tell me, when they come up there, you could be running and facing a train, you could be facing cars from 4 different directions. So it's a bit of a challenge for all the emergency responses that we go through there. And I would suggest that it's probably averages maybe 8 to 10 a day minimum that the fire department's going through that intersection. So I think this is a piece of progress for Batavia that needs to be put into place. I'm pleased that we're able to get this through CMAP and get some federal participation in funding it. So anybody else?
Okay, if not, I will make the motion that we approve resolution 20-119-R, authorizing execution of the local public agency agreement for federal participation with Idot for Prairie Street and Wilson Street intersection improvements.
Second, Rosato.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman Rosato for the approval of resolution 20-119-R, the execution of the local public agency agreement for federal participation with IDOT for the Prairie Street and Wilson Street intersection improvements. Any further comment? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Wolf,
Aye.
Barron,
Aye.
O'Brien,
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler,
Aye.
Malay,
Aye.
Scherr,
Aye.
Saron,
Aye.
McFadden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Rosato,
Aye.
Beck,
Aye.
Knopp,
Aye.
Jansit.
Aye.
Okay, that one's approved by a vote of 14 yes, no no's, none absent. Moving to item 13, which is ordinance 20-43, limiting the number of video gaming sites in the city of Batavia. Is this Alderman Chanzit? Do you have this one?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Your Honor, and Alderman Chanzit, I'm going to jump off the call for a little bit, and then I'll rejoin for the administrator's report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ordinance 20-43, amending Title 3. This is regarding video gaming devices. We discussed this pretty extensively in committee, and it was my understanding, Laura, it came out of committee with a negative recommendation. It just kind of slipped through the cracks in terms of getting itself on the agenda. Is that basically what happened?
Yes. So the way that what happened last time, which was on August 18th, was that Alderman Ewer amended the motion, and what he was requesting was that the current license holders would be grandfathered, but that we would change our ordinance to prohibit video gaming. And so that was, and received a negative recommendation.
Got it. Okay. If there's anyone that has anything they'd like to discuss regarding this item.
Again, this is Mark.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and unfortunately, given my circumstances, I didn't get a chance to really talk to anybody about this recently. But again, I'll just kind of state my position here. I don't think having video gaming in Batavia, other than the minimal amount of revenue relative to our entire budget that we do have from this, there's no gain, there's no benefit Batavia to say, hey, come to Batavia, we're a gaming community. It doesn't ring out as something that we should be proud of. It's something that I think that, again, if we were to put this ban on it, we're not taking a license away from anybody. It's going to be a long time before you would start to see these disappear, and maybe never in some of these cases would they disappear. The likelihood of Speedway closing up in their location is slim to none, just based on their traffic flow there. So I don't think that there would really be a revenue impact to the city to do this, but it would prevent anybody else from coming to Batavia because they think, oh, this is where I can do gaming. There's plenty of other towns around us that are successful without gaming. So I think it's time that we just say, hey, we made a mistake years ago when we did this,
I know there's many on council that would have voted differently, or if they were on council at that time, would have not voted in favor of gaming at all. And I think it's time to just let's work toward the end of it rather than continuing to have this as something in our town.
Anybody else have any comments?
Hey,
Yeah,
Dan, this is Michael.
Go ahead.
Hey, so I have to, I guess I'll disagree with Mark on this. I think this is important. You know, last year at the budget, we didn't want to, you know, staff asked us to raise at $12 per household our taxes. We voted it down. But, you know, we need to get, you know, revenues established. And this is a means of establishing some revenue. It's not a lot of revenue. It's $86,000 a year approximately. But you know, we need every dime we can get now, especially with COVID here. You know, the businesses we're going to be losing businesses, you know, with this recurrence of the COVID-19. I personally don't see any harm in it. We get no reports of any crime, of any devastation to families. I hardly see these signs around town, and I don't see Batavia being a gaming town. I just think it's just something, you know, there's not a whole lot of people looking for this licensing. It's just a means of some people, some businesses to try to stay competitive or try to survive. I'm going to vote against this. I'm a no vote. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Your Honor, Tony here.
Yes.
I'm in support of this. Unfortunately, at the committee of the whole meeting, I was unable to attend that particular meeting, but I support it for the very reasons Mark talked about. We're not proposing a cut in revenue because it would still maintain the 8 existing licenses. And while you might not see a lot of signs around town for gambling or gaming, if we allow it to expand, you surely will. But I don't think we need that reputation for our town. We're not proposing cutting any revenue. And so I will be voting in support of this ordinance. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Your Honor, this is Alan. I supported video gaming when we brought it into town as just another way that businesses would have, if they so choose, to provide revenue for themselves and also a revenue stream for the city. You know, I've looked at this over the years, and I think the way our ordinance is currently written, it is somewhat limiting. We do not have some of the issues that have creeped up, you know, in neighboring communities or counties near us, where, you know, there have been what I'll call a gaming lounge has been put in. Because of the way our ordinance is written, it really prohibits them. And I think in the last 4 years, if that was going to be a problem, it would have already been here. And I think we would have seen those issues. So I do not have a problem with the way the ordinance is written. And if we want to start removing vices and removing gambling and other things from our city that people don't agree with, there's a whole list of them that have a much more impact to our community than video gaming does. So, you know, I just can't support changing it at this point. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Your Honor, Dan.
Yes.
So I had mentioned in committee previously that I somewhat regretted my vote because I recognize that this particular type of gambling is the crack of the industry. It does prey upon people who definitely cannot afford to do it. But that said, I will echo Alderman Wolf's remarks regarding personal responsibility. I have said in committee before that I enjoy gambling. I enjoy the fact that I need to get in my car. I need to drive to Aurora or to Elgin to go play blackjack a couple of times a year, or I need to fly to Vegas to do that. In general, I don't feel comfortable having a lot of these machines in our town. But that said, the restrictions that we currently have in place make it next to impossible for someone to set up shop and do the types of activities that we hate the most, like the places that will put an ice box in the back corner, as the mayor had mentioned, where selling beer is incidental to the fact that they have multiple machines in place. I've been torn. I've gone back and forth on this, but I won't be supporting this tonight. I do believe that the restrictions we have in place are substantial. If we want to discuss this at a future date in committee, I'm not there yet. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I believe we still need a motion to vote on here, don't we? Do we not?
We do need a motion, or it dies for lack of motion.
Yeah,
I move.
motion.
Yep.
Okay.
Second.
Yeah, we have a motion. Can you identify
Motion
who it was that made
yeah.
the motion?
Tony Malay was the
Ewer.
second. Mark Ewer was.
Okay, very good. Moved by Malay, second by Ewer for the approval of ordinance 20-43, the number of video gaming sites in the city of Batavia. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Malay,
Aye.
Ewer,
Aye.
Barone,
Aye.
McFadden,
No.
Scherr,
No.
Risato,
No.
Beck, Knopp,
Aye.
Jansen,
No.
Wolf,
No.
Barron,
No.
O'Brien,
No.
Callahan,
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
I have 6 yes, 7 no.
So motion's defeated. All right. Moving then to item 14, the administrator's report. Laura?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And unfortunately, we have received the news that the incidence of COVID in our area, the number drastically increasing. We are really on the precipice of being in the situation of some other regions in the state of Illinois who have had to employ mitigation measures such as all bars and restaurants closing at 11, no longer being allowed to do service inside, only outside service and carry out allowed, limiting public gatherings to no more than 25 people and a 25% occupancy. And we know that all of that would be very devastating to our business community. And so the Kane County Health Department today hosted a phone call of all of the mayors and city administrators in Kane County and implored us to do our best to encourage people to follow strictly all of the CDC and the Illinois Public Health Department guidelines that have been put out there, both for our own personal behavior, to wear the mask, watch social distancing, wash our hands a lot. And then also on the business side as well, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity have put out guidelines for numerous different industries, explaining to them and providing them guidance on how they can keep their employees and the general public safe. Earlier this year, the Chamber of Commerce and Main Street in the city teamed up and created a pledge that our businesses could enter into, that they were pledging that they were going to meet those guidelines so that customers would feel safe entering their businesses. We continue to do that. There's a list of businesses who have taken the pledge, and if you're a business who is listening to a recording of this meeting, you can go to our website and on our coronavirus information page, you can get information about how you too can take the pledge. Kane County also made the commitment to all of the municipalities on that meeting this afternoon that they will help us with compliance. As the city of Batavia has, our philosophy has been to try to educate and seek voluntary compliance. It is the same way with Kane County Health Department. The Kane County Health Department is the lead organization for enforcement of these guidelines in our area. If there is somebody who is just not following those rules, the county on their website has a 24/7, 365 phone number, as well as an email address which complaints can be filed. And they promised that they would follow up on each and every complaint. Also, tomorrow afternoon, we'll be meeting with several of our local organizations, Main Street Chamber, but also with the school district, the park district, and the library together to brainstorm ideas on measures that we might be able to take to encourage everyone to do what is necessary to prevent us from having to put in further mitigation measures. So that we thank everybody in advance for their cooperation on this. It just takes everybody taking responsibility to do what they can. Also wanted to just let you know, leaf collection is underway here in the city of Batavia. It does take a lot of resources to accomplish this. We have several weeks more here of leaf collection than we are going to be collecting on the west side the week of October 26th. We're doing the east side this week. The next collection, the second collection, the east side will be November 2nd and the west side will be November 9th. And then we may have a third collection if weather permits on November 16th and November 23rd. On November 3rd, we'll be having a citywide brush collection. But wanted to remind you that in the month of December, Advance will also collect leaves, which are put in big craft paper bags. No sticker is required, and they will pick those up for free between December 1st and 31st. Outdoor dining. We have previously had plans to pick up the tables and such for outdoor dining, but because our crews are so busy with the leaf collection, that probably will not be done until after the Thanksgiving, so that following week. We're in discussions right now with a developer about reviving the Winding Creek project that was proposed on McKee Street west of Randall. These are still early discussions at this point, but we're really excited to have the possibility that that new subdivision project will be back on the table. We're also nearing the point of issuing a grading permit for a speculative warehouse building on Pearson. And the city, this is a really, really big announcement that the city's received federal funding support for the reconstruction of Main Street from Van Nortwick westward all the way to Randall Road. So construction of this project is likely to occur in 2024 or 2025. So for those who have been severely impacted by the construction already underway on Main Street, rest assured that you're going to get a little bit of a respite there before this other project would begin. And based on the feedback that we've been receiving from local property owners on North River Street, the city will continue to pursue a catenary lighting design with freestanding poles for North River Street. And funding for the design work has been included in the 2021 draft budget. And underground utility work is expected to commence here this fall and winter for the Menards expansion. And then construction of the new building on the north side of the street is expected to occur next spring. And the Finance Department plans to have a draft budget ready for City Council's review this Friday. Our first budget meeting is going to be October 27th, which is during our ordinarily scheduled Committee of the Whole meeting. We may have a couple of quick business items that we handle at the front end of that meeting, but then we'll head right into the budget discussion. And then the budget will be available online by the end of the day this coming Friday. If anyone on City Council prefers it just to be an electronic copy, if you could please let Peggy or Liz know as soon as possible. And then we also have our second session for strategic planning coming up next Monday, October 26th at 7:00 p.m. That meeting, as is this one, the meetings this week and next week will all be held online. It would not have been our preference. We were pretty excited about moving to that hybrid in-person and online meeting. But the reason why these meetings have been moved to online is because early voting is taking place at City Council chambers. Early voting is here from October 19th to the 23rd this week, so Monday through Friday. The hours are 9:00 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Next week, the voting is October 26th, Monday, through Thursday, October 29th. Same hours, 9:00 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. If you are coming to City Hall to vote, the entrance that you need to use is on the south end of the building. That's down by the plaza where the big windmill and the Bulldog are. And that is the entrance and exit for early voting. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Laura, question?
Yes.
The agreement with Funway for the River Street tables, did that not include delivery and then pickup?
Yes, it was extremely generous of him to include the pickup and the drop off and the pickup at the end of the season. That's a huge help to us.
So the only ones that staff is kind of tied up with would be the ones on Water Street.
That's correct. I do believe that the Park District left behind 5 to 8 tables that they were not needing for the beginning of the school year. So there may be additionally a few tables left on North River Street that we need to return to the Park District. And we thank them as well for being amazing partners in helping us to create our outdoor dining areas so quickly this year.
And with the outdoor dining tables and it looking like we're trending backwards going into winter, any more further update on outdoor heaters, tenting, et cetera?
So the city this past week published our outdoor dining fall and winter guidelines. And they are very similar to what the city of Chicago published 2 weeks ago, and also what the city of Geneva to our north, what they are proposing as well. So the propane type of heater is allowed outdoors, but not inside of tents. If you're doing a heater to heat the inside of the tent, it has to be a heater specifically made for that purpose. And anyone who is putting up tent structures on an outdoor eating area would need to contact the community development department in order to obtain a permit. Even if they already have that up, it was not intended originally that it would be up in the winter time. And so just would like the opportunity to come out and check out how it is anchored, and then to go over some of the guidelines associated with having a tent up in wintertime, because one of the dangers that exists is that if snow collects on top of the tent structure. When the sun comes out, it melts. And if that were to be in an area where it would collect on a public sidewalk, it would create ice. And so we just want the opportunity to make sure we want to help our businesses to continue to serve outside as much as possible into the fall and winter season. But we also want to make sure that it's done in a way that keeps everyone safe.
Any other questions? All right, moving then to committee reports, community development, Alderman Callahan.
Nothing, Your Honor.
City services, Alderman Wolf. Alan, you've lost your mic, I think.
Okay. Sorry, nothing on the agenda for tomorrow night, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Public utilities, Alderman O'Brien.
Your Honor, tomorrow night we'll be discussing an approval to Suncast for installation of a photovoltaic system.
Okay. Government services, Alderman Chanzit.
Your Honor, we're going to be discussing a couple of contracts tomorrow night, one including the Association for Individual Development and with our city attorney's office, and that's all.
Okay. Any other business from the city council tonight?
May I just interject one thing that I forgot to mention?
Sure.
I was notified by Jeremy Barkai, our water and sewer superintendent, that the division was recently notified that they have received recognition from the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for achieving the highest standards of compliance for 3 years in a row for perfect fluoridation results. It really is something that's exceptional. It's not easy to achieve, and very few communities within the state of Illinois can claim that accomplishment. So I just wanted to publicly recognize Jeremy and the water and sewer team for their great work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That is an outstanding record for us to have. It speaks well to the quality of this personnel that we have down there running that system and all the money we've spent to build that system down there. It's a lot of money, but I think over the long haul, it's going to prove its net worth to every citizen of this town.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that very much. Anybody else? Quickly under the mayor's report then, which is item 17, I'd just like to, certainly make the observation and kind of piggyback on what Administrator Newman has shared with you about the whole corona issue as it challenges us in Batavia. As you know, I've been here a long time. I've never had anything quite like this before as far as the intensity that requires you deal with it on a day-to-day, almost moment-by-moment basis. And there seems to be widespread numbers of people with various opinions about whether we should be masking or social distancing, or we're not doing enough, or we should be impacting it more. And certainly when you got into the whole school opening thing, that was a real loud voice in the community of which the city has no role in it. And as I repeatedly had to tell dozens of people who contacted me in a variety of ways about their concerns about the way school was being run or how it was or wasn't being run. Again, that's not a decision of anybody on this call. And, I just defer them to the school district because they're the ones that I think generally do a very, very good job of running our school system. And I think the records of Batavia schools speak to that. But I can understand on the other side the parents' dismay about the kids not being able to go and be part of a classroom situation. There's just a lot of angst out there, and it really, as a public official who's becomes kind of the target of everybody's comments, it's been about the healthiest group of shots I've ever taken as far as the number of people who have broad opinions about what it is that should or should not be done. And so I was dismayed today when Laura and I sat in on a call and was told that, there's some things happening that may be taking us in the wrong direction. And I'm thinking that within the next day or two, we're going to hear more from the state of Illinois and other voices who are in the administration and governing of this thing that will give us some more insights as to what we want to do. I will tell you, however, that in talking to other mayors and other people who have read the numbers and look around, Batavia generally gets pretty high marks because to this point in time, in comparison to other neighboring communities, our number has been one of the lowest in the room as far as what we've had to deal with. And I think that speaks well for the number of people who have done social distancing. We had the two couples of people in Batavia who generously paid for and distributed the Mask Up Batavia signs. I think that went a long way toward hopefully educating and encouraging people to do it. But this has been a very challenging moment, and I'm afraid it's probably not over with yet. And as I heard this afternoon, we could be in this thing till sometime in 2021 before we kind of think that this is over. So it's not over with yet, but again, I appreciate everybody on the council's interest and support and management of it. I can't tell you that we've done much wrong. I think we've generally been pretty much on target as far as a community about what we could do to help fight the whole issue, and we'll just kind of have to take it from there, here and go. One thing I would like to encourage the community is, as we get near the holiday season, we're going to have the Christmas toy drive, and they are still looking for donations to that, mostly financial. But the two organizations that I really would like to have us take a look at as a community are the Clothes Closet and the Food Pantry down on Flint Avenue there, down there by the water treatment plant. That is a dynamic and most worthwhile organization in this town. I get to intertwine with them on a regular basis, and I'm just totally amazed at the quality of operation that goes on down there and the number of needy people who are seriously served by that operation. And so if anybody is looking for some cause to make a donation to, certainly the Batavia Clothes Closet and Food Pantry is one that should be high on your list, because I will tell you that they do good things. And the other thing I will share with you is that in talking to some of my other mayors, everybody kind of looks around and sees what's happening in other towns in the area. And certainly our housing numbers in Batavia, while they're not what they always have been as far as the leader, we've had a steady continued growth of housing projects in Batavia this year. We've built a number of new houses, as is evidenced by the Habitat for Humanity's 4 houses that are now under construction out on West Wilson Street, just this side of Randall Road. And we're going to have a ribbon cutting for that here in the next couple of days. So we are bringing some new houses into town. And as Laura just indicated, we had some conversations last week for folks out there on McKee Street, west of where the current development stops in that area, to potentially bring in another apparently very nice quality development with some housing styles that I think could be well received and utilized in Batavia and of high quality. So I think that's a good sign. The other thing, over in the industrial park, we've got a proposal to build a huge warehouse out there almost on the DuPage County line that will all be within the city of Batavia. And this is being done by a company that has a very good record in the region. So I think we may be seeing some couple 100,000 square feet of additional space out in our industrial park. And the most interesting thing we've got going at the moment is, in the last 3 weeks in this town, I have had 4 different conversations with people who are either in the process of doing it now or are cogitating about either opening a new restaurant, moving a restaurant, or expanding a restaurant. And so restaurants seem to be a very popular thing in Batavia, and hopefully they will be for many years to come once we get ourselves through the corona issue. But we do have a lot of interest in people wanting to do restaurants in Batavia, and I think that speaks well for us as a community, specifically in the fact that everyone I'm talking to at the moment is all in the downtown area. So downtown Batavia, I think, is going to be a great place to eat and party and socialize. And so we've really got some good things going. And the one final comment I want to make is that we've had a number of people at least talk to me about their appreciation of the leadership that's been taken by you on the city council and working with the park district to try to work out the issues as it surrounds the I'll call it the depot pond, and preserving that piece of water for our community in the future. And what a nice setting and a nice park like it is. And I had a dad call me the other day and say he was sure happy to do it because he spent lots of money here to hire a very professional photographer to come to his town. I come here in a couple of weeks to film all kinds of wedding pictures on the Depot Pond riverfront down there. And so there's a lot of people that really regard that with a high degree of appreciation. And I've heard nothing but very positive things about the unanimous vote we got from the city council about trying to work it out with the park district so we preserve that body of water. So thanks to all of you for your interest in that one. And finally, today, a thing I'd just like to share with you, Laura's already talked about the voting that's taking place in our council chambers at the moment. Today was the first day to vote, and when it was all over with, the gals that were down there running it had some issues or requests from myself for some help for moving a couple things and opening some doors and whatever have you. And they shared with me that today, on the first day of operation, we had 252 voters in Batavia, which for the first day of operations is a pretty high number. And it goes along with what I'm hearing in the region is a prediction that we may be about to see the largest election turnout in the history of the United States of America over the next few weeks as we move toward November the 3rd. So if Batavia today was any indication, we did have lines out the front door of the council chambers for most of the day. At one time, I counted, I think, 17 people standing outside the building, socially distanced, so waiting for their turn to come in. And then once you got in the building, we wound you around down there for a little ways, so you got you inside. But we had more than what we could adequately get in the building on several occasions. So it's good to see people out wanting to exercise their democratic right, and it looks like we're going to have quite an election in our council chambers just for the participation we're getting there. So again, I appreciate the council's understanding of that, and it's all good things where we're putting public property to use for public use, and so we are glad to participate. So no further business on my part. Alderman Chanzit, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Tomorrow night.
Good night.